Welcome to the SoulScape Show with your host and intuitive multidimensional channel and soul healer, Gabrielle Spencer. You can find all SoulScape shows and free gifts from our special guests at soulscape.tv. Choose Season 4. I'm excited to welcome Sunny Dawn Johnston to our community tonight. She's here to share her wisdom and techniques for connecting with your angels and archangels to develop a special, deep, and authentic relationship with them. Together, we are the light. Hello and welcome to the SoulScape Show. This is Gabrielle Spencer, your host, and tonight I have with me Sunny Dawn Johnston. I'm super excited to have her with me and with all of us because she is well known in the spiritual community. As I was speaking about earlier, she is an international superstar, dynamic person because she gets out there and has for a long time. I've known for over 20 years of her work, and she really believes in assisting through not only the angels, but the heart, expanding your heart, love, and using all of the tools that are available to us to help you do that. She has over 20 books, which is crazy. Good job. Is that a book a year?
Actually, it's kind of I wrote my first book in 2011, and then I was like, oh, I can write a book. And so then they just started coming.
That's amazing, Sunny. That's amazing. All right. Well, I welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here and taking the time to talk with us today about angels and archangels and creating a relationship with them and all about them. You know, I was thinking before this show tonight, I was reminding myself that at 18 years old, I had two potential death experiences. But in both cases, during my 18th year, which is kind of interesting, it's not ever happened again. I'm good with it the way things are.
Yeah, right. Done.
But in one of them, I was in a skiing accident and I was going down a double black diamond trail, which for everybody out there, those are like the extremely most difficult. And I was on the East Coast, so it was all icy, and I hit black ice and went sailing from the top of the mountain. So I kept saying to myself, stay in a ball, stay in a ball. Well, I did, except for that I went flying into the air over and over. And finally I came down on a snow fence, which for everyone, that's a 2x4 snow fence that keeps you from the trees. Well, I happened to roll over the side, and an angel, as a man, jumped in front of me. This is crazy. I was going so fast, right? Jumped in front of me, kept me from hitting a tree with my head, got me to stop, asked me if I was okay, and disappeared. Just like that. Gives me chills even now. And what's funny is that at the time, I wasn't grateful. And I can tell everyone that. I didn't realize until later when I was telling my mother what happened. And she was like, Gabrielle, that's your angel that saved you and left. You know, you're okay and whatever. Now, I fractured my coccyx, gave myself whiplash. My hips were out of joint. I could barely walk. But thankfully, I did not sever, obviously, anything important, even though the surgeons were like, you were this close. And I was like, okay, that's really scary. But what's important is actually right behind me, I was still sitting there catching my breath and trying to gather my wits. And a woman right behind me hit that very same tree and was brought out on a stretcher. You know, the ski patrol came and got her. And I just was like, wow, you know, amazing, right? So I would love it if you just expound on the roles, because the truth is that in danger now, I know of at least 2 times, but I'm sure that I've overworked my angels. How can we have a relationship with them when we're not in dire need so that they can help us all the time?
Yes. Well, that story, it's a great story, and it's a great reminder. And similar, I had just turned 19, and actually, Archangel Raphael came to me and actually saved my life at that time. And I'd had a stroke while I was in labor with my son. and literally was like, the doctors came to me and said, you're not going to make it through the night, and you need to sign your rights over to him, because I was a single mom, and so who's going to take him? And so I get that feeling. I get it. And I'm like, yep, been there, done that. And my angels are overworked. And that's part of why I have spent so much of my life helping people to connect and understand that we don't have to almost die in order to connect with them. Like, you don't have to go that extreme. We don't have to be that dramatic. It could just be like, hey guys, help me find a parking place. It could be that nice, Right. Help me to heal through the loss of my grandmother, or the challenge that I'm having with my knees, or, our angels are there to support us in any form and fashion that we need. But the challenge and the problem is that so often we don't ask.
Right.
We don't ask. And when we don't ask, unless it's in literally an emergent situation like that one, where it's before your time, so you're not meant to die, which you likely would have, right. Then they can help us in making life have more grace and ease, to be more in a place of joy. It doesn't mean we're going to have I thought when I started having experience with angels, man, I'm in it. Like my life is going to just be just coasting down the highway. Like, awesome. I got all this support. So cool. Yeah, that's exactly what my because I had my experience seeing my guardian angel at the age of 13. That was my teenage mind. And then when life didn't get like immediately better, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the way it should work, I don't think. And it never has been that way. It didn't save me from the life experiences that I've needed to grow through. But what it did do is it taught me to be able to ask for and receive help. And I think that's critical and key for so many. It's asking is one thing, and that's hard enough. But then open yourself up to receive it. That's another story.
I feel like that's always the story with everything. And I think part of it is basically because we get so caught up in what it should look like that we actually block the receiving.
For sure. And we get held up in the idea that, oh, this isn't the right way. This isn't how it's supposed to be. No, I wanted it this way. I wanted it on Tuesday at 3:00. Not on Thursday at 8 a.m., right? So we get into this kind of control and think we need to figure it out. And what I've learned over the years, and it's been 36 years now since I started working with the angels, is that their vision for me is always higher than mine. It always is. There's purpose behind it that I may not understand, that usually I come around to. Sometimes I'm a little slow, but I get there. And so I've learned to invite them in, ask for their help, and start to tune into the messages and the signs that they're sharing with me, so that I can then take the action that my spirit is guiding me to anyway. It's my head that isn't always on the same page. My spirit is absolutely in alignment. And so we've got to do work here,
Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, okay, so recently I was reminded that I had a basically like a troop of angels. So I'm curious, what is the distinction? There seem to be all kinds of angels.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So who should we be calling on?
So that's a great question. So, when I first started learning, so the way I learned about angels, it wasn't through religion. It wasn't through a book that I read. It literally the angels started teaching me about them, because I didn't have a belief system. I didn't go out going, okay, I want to have this experience. I literally woke up in the middle of the night, saw my guardian angel, and said, oh, that's like a thing. That's like a real thing. And so then I didn't know how to activate that again. It happened. It wasn't intentional. It just happened. And then I was like, okay, so whoever you are and however you got here, could you come back? And this was my really profound way of connecting, right? And help me to understand what I can do to have that feeling again, because I just felt this sense of like, peace and serenity and calm, and that was not my nature. And so when they started teaching me, it was initially they came in very gently and slowly. So, and it was really the archangels that I started learning from. So my first experience was with my guardian angel. And I learned that my guardian angel is always with me and always had been with me. And I questioned that oftentimes because I was like, I don't think so, because if I had a guardian angel and you were with me all the time, you wouldn't let this bad shit happen to me. And my guardian angel is like, oh, no, that's not how it works. And so I'm like,
that's fantastic.
Oh, and I'm like, that's a bummer. That's how it should work, you guys, by the way. I think that's how it should work. And then after that, the first archangel I was introduced to was Archangel Michael. And so at first his presence came in literally the form of an angel, like we see in figurines and images and things like that. And then as I started to learn and develop my skill of connecting with him, the form faded away, and just this ball of light blue energy, same colors you've got on, beautiful, brilliant blue energy, started to show itself. And so they started teaching me, we're not male, we're not female, we don't have bodies, it's just a form that we come in to help you to understand who or what we are. And then started teaching me who I could call on for what. And so after I had this experience with the archangels, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And then I read years later a couple of books, and they're like, okay, now we've got the seraphims, and we've got the virtues, and we've got all these different levels of angels, which was religious based. And I'm like, gosh, I never found any of them. And what Spirit said to me is, there are millions of angels like there's millions of people, and we need different support in our lives at different times for different reasons. So when you had your accident at 18, you needed a different angelic support than you did when you're 25 and you're going to college, or when you're a new mother, or when you're going through a divorce. And so different, just like in our human world where different people kind of show up to support us at different times in our life, so do the angels, and different ones at different times. And we don't actually need to know who they are. We just need to invite the support of the angelic realm in. And if you want to know, if you're like, well, I feel, because our minds as human beings, we like to understand stuff,
right.
And so if we want to know, then you can learn about the different archangels, what they represent, so that you can call them in and feel more connected. But the truth is, it's not necessary in order for them to show up. It's helpful here, but it's not necessary in order for them to show up.
Okay, so a couple people have written in and they're asking, so it looks like Deborah said, hi, Sunny, as I am working on my spiritual growth, I get confused on who to call upon. I wonder if I have a primary one or a team. So you've answered that you can have a whole lot, but do we have, other than our guardian angel, is there some way we can choose one, or one chooses us, or we get a team?
Sure. So we do get a team, and there's actually a team of angels, and that team of angels is constantly shifting as we are constantly shifting. So they're supporting us in different areas as well. The name for my team is Hey Guys. Hey Guys. That's the name of my team.
I like it.
And I know that sounds very immature for somebody who has taught about connecting with angels for 20 plus years. But the reality of it is, they come and go, and they shift in such so often that I don't have to try to keep track of them. I just can feel the energy and the vibration. And I know the difference between my guardian angel and the difference between the archangels, because I can feel the presence and it shows up differently. And I can explain a little bit about how to discern that.
Because a couple people have asked, how can you know how to tune in better, to get clearer messages, etc.
Yep.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll discern that. So the difference between the guardian angel and then feeling our archangel, and then the team is like this presence that feels all encompassing. Where our guardian angel, it's kind of like your right arm. You don't even notice that it's there because it's just part of you, and it always has been. It always has been. So they come in with you and they leave with you. The archangels have specific qualities that as you become more aware of, you can start to feel that presence. Like Michael's energy is strong and it's powerful, and it's almost always stands behind you in a sense of like support, and like pulls you, like if you're slouching, it pulls you up, like you're just like, nope, you're gonna be big. And Raphael's energy is very soft and soothing. So you start to discern this. But one of the things that people get a lot of times, they get caught up in with the angels is, number one, they feel like they need to know every single one and what they do. And again, it's nice to know that, but you don't have to. But what you do want to know and start to learn is how to discern the vibration, the changes in vibration. So if the best way for me to explain that is, as physical beings, so spirits in a body, which is us, we're all spirits in a body. We are a low vibration. And the reason we're a low vibration is because we have the body. So we're dense. Not dense here, dense here. Okay. So the spirit light, but in the body dense. So we're the lowest vibration. When we drop our bodies, when we die, our vibration automatically raises simply because we dropped our body. Doesn't matter if you're good, bad, otherwise, just your vibration absolutely raises simply because of that. So that area, that realm is called our deceased loved ones. And in that area, just like in a human area, we have people in human form that are low vibration, and we have people in human form that are high vibration. So like if this is us as humans and we drop our bodies, then our vibration automatically raises to that next level, which is the deceased loved ones. We've got people that are in a higher vibration there and in a lower vibration there. Then when they choose, if they choose to be a spirit guide, a teacher, a guide to people on the physical planet, their vibration raises to the next level, which is the spirit guides. Some higher vibration, some lower vibration, but always higher than this. And then we've got above the spirit guides is where we have our angels and our archangels, our ascended masters, and then the God of your understanding, the divine source energy, whatever you call that. So when we are here as humans in this low vibration, in order to listen, connect, hear, receive the messages from any of the realms in the spirit world, what we have to do is learn to raise our vibration. And when we learn to raise our vibration and we open ourselves up and raise our energy, then we can receive the messages, the signs, the symbols from the spirit world. Now, the way we start to discern the difference between if it's my guardian angel, if it's an archangel, or if it's a spirit guide or a deceased loved one is through vibration. So our deceased loved ones, they're more dense. They're a lower vibration, they're more dense. Our spirit guides, they're a little bit higher of a vibration than our deceased loved ones, but they're lower than the angels. Okay, then we've got the angelic energy, and that's a high vibration. So a lot of people struggle to actually feel that presence because it's such a high frequency. The archangels, really high frequency, can be more difficult to discern. So it's what you start to do is you start to become aware when you feel that presence around you, and you start to tune in and notice how does it feel? Does it feel a little on the denser side or a little on the lighter side? And then I always ask, when I was learning, I would ask, and then if it was, okay, this is Archangel Michael, okay, that's a high frequency. So then when my grandmother would come around, I'd notice whoosh, like her energy would be a lower vibration, not because she's bad, but she's just denser energy.
Right.
So that's how you start to tell the difference. And it's practice. It's a lifetime of practice.
I was going to say it is practice. So So there's a question here, and I'm going to rephrase it just a smidge. So I would like to know, in your years of experience, how much does good nutrition raise your physical vibration? Because I think that what you were just saying is there's a difference between the physical vibration and then that higher consciousness vibration.
Yes.
So if you would expound on that, I don't think I've ever talked about that in any of my talks, but I would love it if you would, because somebody's asking, what do you think about the nutrition part to raise your vibration? And while that, it's important. So explain your impression of how much of a difference that makes in your vibration.
So there's two different aspects to that. I think that we look at the physical vibration and we look at the spiritual vibration. And because we are both spirit beings and physical beings. And what we've come here on this planet to learn is how to integrate the two. So how to have them work together. If you have a very high spiritual vibration, you're connected, you meditate, you pray, you visualize, you do all that stuff, but you really treat your body like crap, and your physical body is more dense, and you have illness, and you smoke and drink all the time, and that, not because it's judgment, there's no judgment in it. It just brings the vibration down. So even if your spiritual energy is high vibration, your physical energy is low vibration, then you're going to have kind of the median of that, which is not as high as you could be. The frequency isn't going to be as high. If you are somebody who, I remember taking a class 30 years ago, and they said, if you want to open your intuition, don't eat sugar, caffeine, drink alcohol. And I'm like, screw that. That just sounds terrible. Like, what's the point of having a body, right? Like, that was and I was like, I don't know, 17 or something. I'm like, that just sounds like, that was terrible. But as I've matured and grown up a bit and realized that everything that we do, everything that we take in, any media that we watch, anything that we listen to, anything that we read, anything that we eat, anything that we drink, anything that we expose ourselves affects our vibration. It just does. So what you eat for sure affects your vibration. Now, it isn't about judgment like, oh, that is bad. It's just, is that frequency going to help increase the energy, or does it decrease the energy? It's as simple as that. So for me, I don't drink caffeine. That decreases my energy. I don't drink alcohol very often. I do drink once in a while, but not very often. That decreases. I notice it. It decreases my energy. I don't eat meat. That decreases my energy. And that I notice that for me, for my body, for my physical aspect. And I want my physical energy to be as high as I can get it, and my spiritual energy to be as high as I can get it, so that I can be the telephone, the communicator, the helper to connect this to this for those that aren't quite there yet. Did I answer your question?
You did.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. It's fascinating because I have felt long and have experienced for clients. This is a conversation that seems to come up often, and I had it literally just the other day. And the person said to me, do I have to give up? And it started with that. And see, right there.
Yeah, you're already in trouble.
That's right. I mean, you're going to lower your vibration just because of the energy that's attached. So my response is, if that's your response, the answer is no.
Right.
Because that's not going to help you.
Exactly.
And right. So that's just a tag on to what you said.
No, that's perfect. That's because that when I'm saying for me, it affects my energy. So if I were someone, and I truly believe this, I just was talking about this today. If you're someone that resents the fact that you have to eat salad every day, then that lowers your vibration. Don't eat the frickin' salad.
That's it. It's exactly what I'm saying. You're being counterproductive. That's not what you're trying to achieve.
I totally agree with you.
If you love a steak and it makes you so happy, please eat a steak.
And that will raise your vibration.
Yes.
And that will say with a chocolate cake. If you love chocolate cake and you don't feel the guilt, you don't feel the shame, you don't feel the judgment, it's just like, I love this chocolate cake. It will raise your vibration. So that's something that is personal to each and every person. That's why there's no direct answer on it that nobody can give you, because it doesn't work that way.
That's right. But this goes even further, Sunny. I mean, think about just that reaction, right? And whenever you're connecting, let's say you are connecting and you're not sure if you're connecting with an angel or not, right? But it doesn't feel right, right?
Yeah.
You would agree with me that then stop.
Yep. Pull yourself
Don't
in.
Keep on.
Right. Absolutely. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. That's in the spirit world, the physical world, the mental world, the emotional, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
That's right. And this is why we teach about intuition and clearing out what keeps that from maybe being the best gauge. Because right now, especially with all the cray out there, we need to really be aware of our own energy and what is affecting it.
For sure.
Especially.
And all, yes.
Go ahead. And
all aspects of it, because you don't realize. I was talking to my community the other day, and I was saying, people don't realize how much as empaths, which so many of us any of you that are watching the show, you're an empath. That's why you're here, right? Like, that's just how it works. So many people, when they're taking in, let's just say that you're flipping through Facebook and you see a video, and the video is something that's really kind of volatile and ugly and doesn't feel good, how much that your eyes take in that energy, your ears take in that energy, and then the empathic part of you, the feelers in you, take in that energy. And you don't know that 30 seconds of that drops your vibration for 12 hours. Like, it makes a difference. So people don't understand that it can just be a short amount of time. The effect is a lot longer. It gets us stuck. So we want to be mindful of our frequency, and you can't compare yours to anybody else's. That's one of the reasons why right now, with this pandemic and everything that's happening and all the chaos and craziness and all the choices that people are having to make, you can't go out there to find your answer. It's never going to give you the answer. And what we're learning right now is it never did. Right. The people out there, the politicians, the governments, the education system, the medical system, they've never given us the answer. They've just given us their answer. What we're needing to learn now is the answers inside of us. We've got to trust our intuition.
Absolutely. This is this time period is an example of maintaining your sovereignty in every way.
Yes.
And it is super important for all of us to have the connection going so that you are tuned in without necessarily being tuned in down here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That we're getting our information from a higher source, and you stay out of the fear of what is happening. And because it is through fear that people are influenced and controlled. And so it's really, really pertinent. Okay, so somebody is asking, Deborah is asking, what's the best way to protect yourself from the lower vibrations?
Well, so
this is there a group of angels that does it? I just want an easy way.
Well, the group is Archangel Michael. He doesn't need a group.
No, he doesn't.
And he's on his own. He's all good on his own. And what I'll tell you is, so when I was 13, I had an experience. Do I have a minute to share a quick story?
Yep.
Okay. Because this could be valuable for people. So I'm going to make it as brief as I can. I'm 13. My brother is 5. My mom and dad leave to go out for the night. And I'd already started having all these experiences, seeing angels, seeing dead people, seeing ghosts in the corner of our house, all this kind of stuff. And so my mom and dad went to dinner. They'd never left me alone with my brother because I wasn't the kind of teenager that liked to watch kids. So it wasn't a good idea to leave me home alone with the kids just because I didn't have the patience for them. But they left me home alone because they were having some struggles. The density, there was a lot of heaviness, density, fighting, arguing in our house. So they went to dinner. While my brother was upstairs playing, he came running down the stairs and he said, "Sonny, all of my friends are black and brown and black and brown and green faces." Now, let me preface that by saying his friends were always circles, squares, and triangles in the primary colors with wings. So we always realized they were his imaginary friends, but they were his spirit friends, right? Mm-hmm. And so his friends were gone. His pretty colored friends were gone. And all these ugly, scary friends came in. And so I get up off the couch. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go do the big sister thing. And I didn't believe that anything had happened. Like, I'm just thinking he's being a pain in my butt. And so I go upstairs to go do abracadabra or something. And when I went to go up the first stair and take a step, literally a force pushed me back. And that scared the crap out of me. So then I grabbed his arm and I ran to the corner of the house, and we sat in the corner of the house for like 5 hours waiting for my parents to come home, because it's not something you can just go to the neighbor and go, okay, there's this bad force in my house and I'm scared, you know? So the next morning, so I told my mom, so I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. and not an easy place to be raised, having the experiences that I was having at the time. And so I told my mom what happened when she got home. And she said, well, I'll call my friend. She had a friend named Leo, who was an underground psychic, because it wasn't acceptable there.
Right.
An underground psychic in Salt Lake City. She said, I'll call her and I'll ask her to come over and clear the house. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what that means, but okay. So she came over and she did a prayer. She asked us all to hold each other's hands, and we did. And she said, okay, I'm going to do this blessing. I'm going to call Archangel Michael in. And I'd already had an experience with Michael. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then he'll clear the space and everything will be just fine. That was kind of the way she said it. And I'm like, I don't know if you're not feeling what I'm feeling, but this was scary stuff. Like, I think we're going to need more than that. But she did the blessing, and she did something similar to, she had us all close our eyes. Well, I am 13-year-old curious teenager. So I close one eye because I want to see what's going to happen. So she does this prayer and she says, I invoke the blue light of Archangel Michael to surround and protect this home from any negative energy or entities, seen or unseen. And so it is. Take a deep breath. Okay. So we get done. Now, my little brother, he doesn't know what we're doing because he's out in the front yard riding his big wheel up and down the street. And so Leo, I had my eye open and there was nothing happen. I thought there was going to be some flash of blue light or some kind of smoke and something, like something should happen. Nothing happened. So my mom gets done and she goes, oh, it already feels so much better in here. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? Nothing even happened. And so I'm just getting ready to say, I had my eye open and nothing happened. And right when I opened my mouth to say that, my little brother came running in the front door and he says, Mommy, there is a great big blue bubble around our house.
Wow.
So I was like, maybe something happened.
Wow.
So what that taught me that day was, when we call in our angels, even if we don't see them, even if we don't feel them, even if we don't recognize their presence, they're there. That's the first thing it taught me. The second thing it taught me is by nature, I'm a feeler. And so had I had my eyes closed like my mom did, I probably would have felt that presence. But because I was so focused on wanting to see, because if I saw it, then it would be real, I missed the whole experience. So Archangel Michael, calling Michael in, I learned that at 13. It took me 15 years to actually invite him in consistently so that I could actually feel that energy of protection. It took me a lot of illnesses, a lot of absorbing of other people's energy, a lot of weight gain, because I started to protect myself physically through weight instead of energetically by using his help and support. So when I started inviting him in day to day basis, that's when the greatest blessings in my life happened, because I no longer had to be the protection and hold the protection and carry the heaviness of the protection. I had the support to allow him to help support me. So my weight fell off, 60 pounds fell off easily. I felt safe and secure. I wasn't absorbing everybody else's energy. I didn't feel like I was responsible for the whole wide world. I didn't have to carry everybody on my shoulders. Major life changes happened after I started working with Michael consistently.
Somebody asked in the chat earlier, and I think goes with this. They were talking about inviting in the divine in order to heal physical injury. So basically what you're saying, to tie that together, is that with this practice, you can heal anything, whatever it is.
For sure. Absolutely. And Michael can help you to hold your energy. If you're somebody who tends to take on the energy of other people, which so many of us do. We walk into a room, we feel the density and we feel kind of sick to our stomachs. And then we walk out and we're like, oh, man, I felt fine. And all of a sudden I'm not fine. Those types of things. Michael can help us with that very, very easily for him. Not so easy for us, but easily when we allow him to come in. And Archangel Raphael literally saved my life. So you can ask for the help of the angels to come in and help you to heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And you don't need to know what needs to be healed. You just need to allow yourself to receive it, which is the hardest piece. It almost killed me to not allow myself to receive.
I always use, I am willing and able to receive. Mm-hmm. That way you kind of cover it.
Yeah. And I always say I am open and receptive. So it's perfect.
So whatever it is for each person.
Yes, just what feels in alignment for you. And some days it might be like, okay, I'll receive. Like some days it's a little harder than others, you know, if we're being honest. So, yes.
So with that said, we have another question, and I want to invite everyone, you can go ahead and hit at the bottom of your screen, the little hand to raise your hand to ask Sunny a question directly. And if you're on the phone, *9 will get your hand raised as well. And I will unmute you to ask her directly. So Rita says, I believe and follow my guardian archangel's guidance. I would like to know if I'm doing anything to stop getting clarity every time when I am asking. So basically, is she interfering?
I think we always tend to interfere until we get really, really, really practiced at it. Then we still interfere because we think that we have an idea of exactly how things need to go, and we like to be in control. So there's generally some interference from us as human beings. As long as we have a mind, we have a tendency to interfere a bit. But what I would say is the more that you can practice, so every morning for the last 24 years, I have done a practice of literally opening myself up. So in bed, most of the time, or sometimes I get up and I go outside to the sun and I literally open my arms. And what I'm doing is it's not just opening my arms to open my arms, but what happens is opening my heart center, right? Which is the center of receiving. This is where we need to allow that energy and that love and that support in. So I would open my arms and I would breathe in and I would imagine the color pink, which is love, white for connection to spirit. And then I would say until, and this is the tricky part, until I felt it, I would say, I am open and receptive. I'm willing and able to receive, I think is what yours was. Doesn't matter what it is, but it's setting that intention to be willing to receive. And what that does is it allows, number one, it's you inviting that energy in. And it's also saying, I trust the source of this energy and I'm willing to go with the flow of this first and foremost over this. I would always rather have my spirit lead than my head.
That is the objective.
Yes.
When we can be in alignment, that is when even the bad stuff goes smoother and faster. I mean, my whole way of approaching thing is when something is not exactly the way I like it, I always ask for it to resolve as quickly as possible.
Yep.
Just show me the way to get through it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And we all have our thing that comes to us to say, and I don't feel like there's any one way, and I want everybody to realize that what's most important is what resonates for you, because I grew up Catholic, and while there's some really beautiful things as part of that religion, I remember saying prayers by rote, and I was never connected to them because I could repeat it over and over and it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
And I remember
words,
that,
right?
and that's the point for while we are giving you how we are invoking. I think that part of the message here from Sunny and everything she's saying, and what I'm saying as well, is that it's most important for you to go within yourself and feel what feels right for you. Otherwise, you're just repeating by rote, just like any prayer, right? And it's when you're connected to the prayer or the invocation or the request that it actually rises in vibration. Would you agree?
And that's where the manifestation occurs. So you can't manifest anything without the feeling. And so if you're just repeating words, it's like affirmations. Affirmations are powerful if you feel them. But if you're just saying them because they're on your list and it's Tuesday at 3:00 and this is what I do is I read my affirmations, then that doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything except for spend some time doing something that maybe looks good. But if you feel it, you've got to feel it. Thinking the thought, feeling the feelings, and then taking inspired action is how you begin to attract and manifest those things in your life. So you have to feel it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. All right. I have another question sort of based on somebody else's question. So do your angels, and are there angels that we should be calling on that will help us to know our soul's gift, talent, or mission?
Yeah. So Archangel Michael is actually the angel that helps us with purpose. helps us to recognize our divine purpose. And then Archangel Uriel helps us with seeing the bigger picture. So a lot of times we get so, I was talking about this today too. Like sometimes we just get so like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And so then, I don't know, this is how I am sometimes. Head down, go. Like that, you just go. And we forget that head up, because there might be some signs along the way. There might be some grace and ease. There might be some inspired action. But when we get in it and our head gets so involved, we're just like, okay, I just got to, punch it out, get going. And so it's important to be able to recognize that when we get that way, it's helpful to invite Uriel in so that we can see the bigger picture of things, because sometimes we get very short-sighted. And so Uriel and Michael help us to find purpose, passion, mission in our lives. And here's the kicker that most people get confused on, is a lot of people are looking for one title as what their purpose is. So I am supposed to be a psychic medium, a doctor, a veterinarian, a nurse, whatever. What I learned, and the angels taught me this, and I did not like the answer very much initially, is that my purpose is actually ever changing and ever evolving as I am. And the purpose actually happens in present moment. So right now, in this moment, as we sit together on Thursday, August 13th at this time, your purpose is to be present. And my purpose is to share the presence that's coming through me. And Gabrielle's purpose is to connect the two of us, the us's together. Like that is purpose. And it doesn't always feel that way because we feel like it's something that we've got to reach. And when we reach it, then all of a sudden, the lights come down and angels sing and everything's happy. And that's not what it is. So like in my experience, I was a single mother, 18 years old, on food stamps and welfare, sleeping in a shack. And that never at the time felt like it was part of my purpose. That felt like it was a huge mistake. That felt like I was being punished for not being a good girl. There was a lot of things, and then as I, finally did get out of that abusive relationship and I got married, I met my husband and I wanted to have more children. I had 3 miscarriages. So I lost those babies. That never felt like part of my purpose. But then as I could see it, as Uriel has helped me over the years, I could see that I work with women every day that have gone through miscarriage, that have struggled, that have been on food stamps and welfare, that have been single parents. All of those things were purposeful to get me to serve my purpose day by day by day. And that's what we have to hold on to. It isn't something at the end of the rainbow. It's something we're living right now.
I agree. So much so. I feel like the more that you follow your aligned path, the more you're able to serve regardless. I mean, it doesn't become an end purpose, like you're saying. It's just as we go along, right?
Right.
Every day. I think that's fantastic. It was just reminding me, yes, that's right. I mean, there's so many things that people go through and they need to know that it isn't a punishment.
Right.
And even the lesson portion is not necessarily even what we think, but rather that we find our way through it mostly.
And right? Oftentimes when we find our way through it, I'm sure that this has happened for you and those of you that are watching and listening right now, is as we find our way through it, we find more of who we are. And a lot of the time, it doesn't have to be this way, but it is often this way, is we learn through the hard things. We learn through the hard things, and then we learn to become grateful for the good things. But we don't usually start out grateful for the good things because we haven't had the hard things yet. And does it have to be that way? It doesn't. So it's not like counterbalance. Okay, you got to have this many hard things. It doesn't work that way. But
thank God.
It is how a lot of us as human beings, I know, thank God, yes. But it's how a lot of us as human beings have learned things. And so when we can take the gifts and the blessings from all of the challenge, my life has been filled with challenge, and we take those gifts and we take those blessings and we recognize, oh, this actually has value. I got through it. I can help others get through it. I can inspire others. I can share the story, and maybe they can skip a couple steps. That'd be nice.
Right. Get
That's
through
what
it
we're all
faster.
doing here. Mm-hmm.
All right. I would love it if you would take a call. This is Marielle. Are you there? Let's see if she unmuted herself.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead
Hi.
and tell us your name.
Marielle.
Marielle. Love it.
Hi, Marielle.
It is, that's not my question, but Uriel and Ariel are two different archangels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my question is that I use Reiki and Metatronia therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 7 symbols.
Yep.
And when I started, I was just inviting Metatron.
Mm-hmm.
But as I started to learn about other archangels, I've added like 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I also add Ganesh and Tara.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's okay to like mix all these
together
Yeah.
in your healing modality. Absolutely. They're all there for support and for the highest, greatest good. So the energy, it's kind of like, so I'm a Reiki master. I was certified 25 years ago. Like I have a lot of those. And what I found is that when I started doing my healing work, all of a sudden things started coming to me and through me that wasn't exactly what I was taught. We create kind of our own healing modality. And at different times for different people and different reasons that I didn't even understand, I would be calling in different support. So you're just allowing that guidance to come through. And I think that's actually a healthier way to do it than to stay rigid to, this is the way I was taught it, so this is the way I should do, because you want to respond to the energy that is in front of you and that is coming to you and through you. So absolutely, it's beautiful to pull the support because they're not in competition. They're not like, whoa, 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 this is my turf. And no, you have to stay over there in your turf. It's like, we're all coming together for the highest, greatest good.
Okay. And I've read different things about the role of Metatron.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your take on that?
Well, Metatron shakes things up. Metatron helps us to become aware of what's holding us back. Metatron supports us in making change in our life, and he is very helpful at helping us become aware. Awareness is a big aspect with Metatron. And that can, again, each person's interpretation of the angels, it's coming from their perspective too. But when working with Metatron, there's so much healing that happens when you become aware of what you're doing or why you're doing or how you're doing it or what's causing something. And that's really the source of the foundation for him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move to the next caller. It's somebody on the phone. Hello, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Great. Hello, can you give us your name?
You didn't even, I was just playing. I didn't know there was anyone answering it.
Yes. Do you have a question for Sunny?
My name is Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Well, kind of. I mean, I've heard from other people that my angel was Metatron since I was an infant, but I wonder if I've ever really seen him, because I have not seen very clearly, but I remember at one time I had 2 angels, behind me in a meditation that came through before I knew that they were there. The meditator was giving a big group thing, and she said the angels would just come in and they have their hands on your shoulder. I felt them, and then I've been rescued by light spirits and things like that when I was run over in Hawaii by a pickup truck. But I don't think it was an angel. I think it was just a mountain spirit. So is there anything you can give me as far as like protection from a dark energy I have living next door to me who is intent on targeting me for the rest of my life if she's there? She's just been doing everything she can to hurt me, emotionally, and it's really been kind of bothering me. Is there someone I can call in? Because I keep surrounding my house with angels in my yard, but I don't know if they're doing the job or what's happening, because she's still doing it.
So
it's been like 7 years.
So she might not stop doing it, but you could stop receiving it. So
Okay.
Archangel Michael is who to call on. I would do a walk around the perimeter of your house, so your yard area. And as I walk that counterclockwise, I would either have some kind of a bell or a pan or something, a symbol, a sound bowl, something that you're going to ring as you walk that perimeter. And the entire time that you do it, you do the invocation of bringing in Archangel Michael. Then you go into your front door of your house and you walk the entire perimeter of the inside of your house, doing the same thing to break up any energy that's there, and then to close it up in a healing, protective space. So
yeah. I was saying counterclockwise, both in and outside.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that can help you. The other thing I would just remind you guys of is absolutely there is heavy energy, dense energy, dark energy. The more attention you give it, the more powerful it is. So
I don't give it any nothing.
And there you go. Then that's exactly what you want to do. So you can do maintenance of your own energy, but don't push against energy. Invite the positive energy and don't push against the other.
I tried both. It seems like when I send love and light and all that, it's like she's not happy until she ups it and goes higher than I was before. So it doesn't matter if I'm sending her love or just trying to, hold her back at bay. It doesn't matter. It seems like she's just intent to continue, and it's been nonstop for 7 years. And I just wondered, I don't seem to know what else to do. So I should maybe learn how to control my feelings about it and not even get affected. Is that what I probably
and
need
work
to
with
do?
Michael to help you to maintain your own energy in your own environment.
Okay.
Absolutely, Deborah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. We have Rita next, if I can get her to unmute.
Wow, I wasn't expecting. Hi. I'm really didn't expect to be called on, so I didn't have my question ready.
That's okay. Just ask the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay. I would just say that I understand you said about the clarity in just calling on your angels, and I believe in my angels, and I liked your practice of the morning. But here's my question. It's like, when you're dealing with a struggling situation, and you call on your angels, and often you want an answer, and you're not hearing the answer, right? Because you think you know the answer, or questioning what the angels are saying, even though they probably are giving you a message. How do you I mean, I think I understood you said the energy, read your energy and read the body, but how do you sometimes get out of your own mind of listening to that answer?
Well, I think sometimes what happens, Rita, is that we get resistant to anything besides what we want to hear. So, for example, let's just say, like, I hear this one a lot, like people, they want a job and they want a particular job, and okay, this has got to be the job. And so if the guidance comes through, it's like, keep looking or look the other, they just push up against it. And so in the pushing up against it, I'm using my energy to push this way. So I can't receive because my energy is pushing out. Right.
Right. That makes sense.
So what we want to do
is just allowing yourself to be open, just keep it open for all ideas, and don't shut it down just for the first thing that comes in your head.
Right. Staying open to listening to and being willing, and that was a good word that Gabrielle used, is being willing to receive the guidance. Whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter, because I don't know if y'all know, but Spirit's in charge, and it's always going to be that way. So we do have free will choice, yes, but I'm just saying Spirit always wins. Right. So, there were years and years ago, a little over 20 years ago, I was doing psychic readings. I was very comfortable with readings. That was fun. Angel readings, psychic readings, great. And then Spirit started putting me into a place of doing mediumship. And I said out loud many times, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't like it. It's sad. It's hard. It's no fun. I don't want to talk about death. I don't want to be around death. Like, I continued to say that. And guess what? Every single reading that came, there was always a deceased energy with. Every time. And so what I realized 2 years later, I told you I'm a little slow sometimes. 2 years later was, Sunny, you keep pushing against this and you're doing it. So you might as well just open yourself up, because they're going to win. They're going to win. And they won. And I
just delay the inevitable.
Well, thank you both of you.
That's right.
Just go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Give in now. And go, okay, I get you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. That is so true. I always tell people when a couple years ago, and they're like, okay, now you have to, it was almost like, now understand, it's not always in words that information is delivered to us.
Yes.
I call them data packets, right? It's just like you just poof, you get this understanding. Yep. So the understanding I had was, okay, well, we hope you enjoyed your grace period. It's over. And now you have to get out there and start speaking. And I was like, oh, that I was willing to do all this other stuff, but not that. And
yep.
but I realized by that point, just what you said, that, it's going to happen, and I can go without kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And make it as easy a transition as possible, or you can kick and scream and you're still going to end up there just later and with more difficulty.
Right. That's very true. So listen, guys, we're both saying that.
Yeah.
That is how it happens. So you've got to, and I had the same thing with speaking. I spoke a few times before I started doing this work, and literally I would throw up for 3 days before I spoke. Like, I was so scared of getting on a stage. And when I got the message that I needed to teach, I was like, that's fine. As long as I teach in a living room with 10 people, I'm cool. That's totally fine. And Spirit one day guided me and said, no, you need to go bigger than that. So they suggested that I call the library and ask if I could teach a class there. This was in 2002. And I said, okay, well, library, that's probably safe. It's probably a small amount. Probably people won't even go, because like a library, like I was growing in Salt Lake City, Utah. You'd never teach an angel class at the library. So I called them and I said, here's my suggestion. And I just felt confident that they would say, no, thank you, we're not interested. And she says, oh, our participants would love that. And I'm like, oh my God, no. And so I went, and she said, normally we have about 15 to 20 people. And I'm like, okay, Seti, you can do this. And when I got there were already people out the door in line. And I went in the bathroom and I puked my guts out.
Oh my
God. I said, all right, listen, I will do this work. I will do what you want me to do. Like, I surrender, I give up, but I cannot be sick like this. You got to do something so that I don't get nervous. So I'm not scared. You got to change something, because I will not do it like this. Because I was having a little temper tantrum, right? I'm sure if somebody was in the bathroom, I was talking out loud. So I'm sure it was probably hilarious. So I never got nervous again. Not once. I've spoken in front of thousands of people now. Never gotten nervous.
You're just, it's funny because every time I see you in my mind's eye, I honestly see you on a stage, and I've seen you on a stage. So it might be just this, but like, you're a bigger than life person, although you're not very big. That's what's so funny. Because as a regular person, but your energetic is just expanded. Mm-hmm. And so it makes quite the presence. So it's kind of a funny visual for me to imagine you in that other, beginning way, but I totally get it. And it was
hard, and it was real stuff. And I for sure, I pushed against it for so long, and guys, Spirit wins, just saying.
Yeah. And for the better though, I know that you probably feel the same way as me, which is, gosh, can you even remember your life before that?
I never, ever could have planned to do what I'm doing. And I'm psychic, but never would I have thought that I would be speaking in front of people, that I would be teaching people in this way, that I would be open and letting my name go out there with the word psychic or medium or spiritual teacher or guide behind it, because it was so uncomfortable and so unaccepted that I could never have imagined me doing that.
See, and so that should give everyone hope, first of all, that that for each one of us, when you stop resisting, then the really fun stuff comes. Because I know for myself, I find this part the most fun. And every week I say, as long as I have fun doing this show, I'll keep doing it, because I love to laugh. I love to meet people. I love to hear what you have to say. All of us have different takes on it. And every time we talk about it, even if it seems like the same subject, it never is. Gems come out every time, and experiences and the audience are lovely people that get to share their own issues. Like somebody's just writing, I'm very camera shy. Totally understand that's the case. And after a while, you forget that there's even a camera there. And you also forget that there's an audience there, because you just start speaking from the heart and it just comes out, right?
and you forget to do your hair.
I love your hair. I've seen your hair like that many times.
And I'm just saying, sometimes you get so used to the camera that you forget that, oh, wait, I'm going to be on camera. Maybe I ought to put some makeup on, but whatever. That's how much growth we can have, guys.
That you don't worry about it, right?
Exactly.
It's still good. Actually, I was thinking to myself, Sonny, I wish my hair would do that. That's actually what I was thinking when I first saw your hair. I thought, gosh, I wish mine would do that. But anyway, it doesn't.
That's sweet.
All right, we have some more people. Deborah wants to speak. Let's see if I can get her to pop up here. Hi, Deborah.
Hello, Gabrielle and Sunny. How you doing?
Good.
Oh, thank you so much for taking my call. I think I was going to ask what angels are around me and if they have a message.
So, Deborah, I see Archangel Jophiel around you. Jophiel is the angel of creativity, beauty, manifestation. So attracting in what it is you want. And getting into the energy of the vibration of it, so the frequency of it. I also see an angel that's name is, and it's a funny name to say, but its name is Onkanon. And Onkanon is, excuse me, the angel of communication. And I feel like communication is something that is you're expanding into. And this is really communication with spirit. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to pull spirit in. I'm trying to learn intuition and talking
opening
to them.
yourself up to that connection and that communication with them. And so the manifestation, the creation is creating this energy to be able to see and feel and express and intuit. And Onkanon is the way that the communication is coming to you and through you. So working with those two angels can help support you in expanding that intuitive ability, my friend.
Nice. All right, Deborah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetie. All right, we're going to call on Barb. Are you there, Barb? Let's see if I can get her. Barb, you might have to unmute yourself on your side.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. I'm told often, or get the messages that I'm not always in my body. And when I'm like that, I know I don't feel like myself. So when it's happening, I don't know what to do to bring myself back into my body.
Okay. Do you become aware of it when it's actually happening? Do you have any awareness, or not until afterwards, hon?
Usually afterwards. I know when I'm not, I just don't feel like myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So most of the time what's happening there is, well, there's a couple things, but most of the time you just need to ground yourself to get yourself back in the body. So there are, like for me, I spent a lot of the first years of my life. I liked to be out of my body. I didn't like my body. I didn't like to be in my body. I didn't like the way my body felt. It felt heavy. I felt pain. I felt other people's emotional pain. So I checked out of my body as much as possible. I was kind of up here in the airy-fairy woo-woo world, right? And then one day Spirit said to me, and I did not like this at all. And they said, you chose to come here to have a body. If you don't want to be in your body, then you don't need to be here. I was like, oh, well, that's clear. Like, got it. Right. So I had to learn how to integrate my spirit in my body and be present in the body. So grounding is really important. One of the easiest tips that I suggest to a lot of my students and clients is get a couple of big river rocks. And so not crystals. Okay. Crystals help you fly. If you're not in your body, we don't want you flying. We want you to come down. Like, beam me up, Scotty. That's one. We want you to pull down into the body. So river rocks. And if you work at a desk, put them where your feet would go on the desk. If you want to help with your, like at night, then put 4 of them along the area underneath your bed of where you sleep. If you sit in a particular place on your couch or at your dining room table, then put them so you can put your feet on them after. So that's one thing that can really help ground yourself. When you connect with those, visualize pulling that earth energy into your body. That gets you centered in your body much quicker. I have many clients that actually spend a lot of time out of their body for a variety of reasons. A lot of people that have been abused are out of their body. PTSD is out of their body. But there's also people that are just sensitive that don't want to be in it, or it's just freaking cool to be up here, right? So so it can be any and all of those things, but getting grounded is one of the most important things. The other thing you can do is a visualization in the morning of actually grounding yourself. So visualizing like your feet have roots, like roots of a tree, pulling it down through the sediment and all through the earth and down into the center of the earth, and then pull that energy of earth, that Mother Earth energy, up in through the tops of your feet or through the bottoms of your feet and up into your body. So those two things could really help you, Barb. I think that's probably one of the most important things that you need for yourself right now.
I have done some of that grounding. I know someone else, Dr. Karen Can, talks about grounding in 4 ways. And I think I have some difficulty. It's not just the electromagnetic field to the earth, but it's the spirit in the body, crystalline blueprint, and to the 7th heaven. And
I'm not familiar with that. I've never done any of that, so I really can't speak to that. What I know for myself is that I like to keep it as simple as possible. So for me, that's what's worked for me. You can also ask Archangel Ariel to help you, because Ariel is the angel of nature, to help you to connect with the physical nature of your body, and that could help also.
Okay.
All right, Barb. I want you. Thank you, sweetie. We have another call, and then I have another question. So somebody, while I'm getting that up, somebody is asking, is there an archangel I can call upon to manifest a new home? So I have a question. This is Carrie who's asking. Do we ask for specific things? How does that work?
There's actually two different rules of thumb. I think they both work depending on where you're coming from. So Archangel Jophiel is the angel to work with manifestation. And if you're wanting to ask for like a home, for example, then I would always ask this or something better. Because again, you don't want to get in the way. And a lot of times we get in the way because we get so finite on this is a specific thing. And then if it doesn't look like that, then we miss the whole experience. So if you're focusing on something like that, it could be this or something better. Because generally we have an idea of what we want, and trying to pretend that we don't want it doesn't help. That just pushes against it. You just create resistance in it anyway. So instead, being open to, okay, I want to attract a home that's a 4-bedroom, whatever it is, or something better. So we keep ourselves open to the possibilities that spirit has for us, and not just limited by our own thoughts or ideas.
And I just want to add to that. Remember that sometimes in the delivery, we're taking stepping stones, and you have to be willing to see that. Like, I always consider it like breadcrumbs. Like, sometimes it's not the whole package that gets delivered. It's you take a step over here, and sometimes it feels like a zig or a zag.
Yeah.
And that's important to take it, or the rest isn't delivered. It's almost like, I don't know, maybe you're weaving it along the way, or other things have to come in place, and you need to be at, intersection X at that time, and you won't be unless you did all those steps that you felt called to do.
Yes, yes, totally agree. And I would say it's more often than not. So it's not sometimes, it's most times. Like, it's, I don't know. There's some people that get the yellow brick road and they get like all the steps and they see them in advance. My life has never worked that way.
Know anybody like that?
Yeah.
Come on,
it's
Sunny.
never worked that way. So
no, I've not met one practitioner, nobody where it just whoop. It's always, I always say, like, when you hear the story from people, like, they'll give you like the 3 major steps they were conscious of.
Right.
Okay? And then suddenly it manifested. And it's like, no suddenly. There was no sudden. I mean, I guarantee you that there were many other steps that you did not even cognizantly realize were part of that manifestation.
Exactly. Well, and with a house, in order to get the house, it's perfect divine timing for you. The other person has to put it up for sale, move out, get a realtor. Like there's a whole bunch of things that have to happen to have it match perfectly. And that's called divine order and divine timing. And that does not work in our timing.
I get so irritated about that every time. I just want you to know. I mean,
I hear you. I'm like, hello.
I wanted it to happen before the kids start school, and I wanted to be all settled. And now I'm not even going to think about it because it's too late. I missed my window, and I can't think about it anymore. So, and now you know that perfect house is going to show up because I'm not looking. And that's why they say that. When you're not looking for it, that's when it shows up. It's because you aren't busy trying to fit it into your square.
Yeah. And you've released the resistance of it having to be a particular way.
I hate that. I hate that. All right, Stacy, I'm not sure if I just undid you or not. Are you there? Let me see. Actually, I think she just disappeared off the screen. Could have. She did.
Can you hear me?
Nope. There she is. Hi,
Stacey. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm beautiful. Just a question. Is there some angel or something I'm supposed to work with? I have like a bunch of legal issues, and it's pressing on me, even though I know they'll all be settled the way they're supposed to. But I want them done so I can start moving on in life, you know?
So two angels that come to me that would be supportive for you right now, Stacy. Archangel Gabriel, so that you have clear and concise communication with what your needs are, with working out the details of everything that you're working on right now. So that's number one. And then Archangel Uriel, because what Uriel does is helps us with having the wisdom, the understanding, the patience to take the steps as needed, and helps us with the bigger picture. So to hold the vision while we're taking those steps that sometimes are a pain in the butt to be taking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Uriel and Gabriel together can help you with that process. And I see the number 6. So I feel like that's representative to you of 6 months probably. But it feels like it's moving in that direction. So you're moving in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. So that's really interesting because a couple times, so my name is Gabrielle. I was born with this name. My mother chose this, and there's reason. However, I've always felt it. Like that's always been me, right? So never in all my years have I ever wondered what my connection to Archangel Gabriel was. So as we're sitting here during this time, I kept hearing, ask about Archangel Gabriel, because I know a lot of people who connect with angels, etc., but it's never occurred to me. So with her call, that made me laugh because I've not asked it the whole time. Like, all right, so what's the story with Archangel Gabriel? Because it sounds so cliche since my name is Gabrielle, blah, blah. Anyway, so you come out with clear communication. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, that is so funny.
Perfect, right?
Well, it's perfect, but it's perfect for even more reasons than that would seem on the surface, right? It's because just very recently, I was doing some work, and it came to me that I was moving like to my next phase of being out there, and really, I had felt like let's call it a glass partition, just because it's easy to understand. So it was like there was this glass partition, so that even though I'm out there, it's almost like people still weren't hearing me. And I was talking about this with a practitioner recently, and it came through like, okay, I'm finally through that phase where that was set up, talking about divine timing, right? It was set up and I wasn't at the place that I needed to be, blah, blah. So anyway, so I find it funny that now it's like, okay, you should be connecting with Archangel Gabriel because now's the time. But so look at that. You answered my question without even.
I love it. Perfect divine timing.
I love it. I love it too. And I just want to say thank you so much. I think we've really covered a lot of territory today, and I appreciate just everything you've brought to us, because you're delightful. And I encourage everyone that if you haven't heard Sunny, or you haven't read her books or seen her on Celebrate Your Life, and she has so many programs and she is just out there all over. I wasn't joking when I said it. She really is. So if you haven't ever checked her out, do so, because you'll be delightfully surprised in all that she does. She also has a free gift which helps you to know what your clair is. So can you explain that? Because I went out to see it, and it's a quiz. So tell them a little bit about the clairs.
So it's just a short little quiz, 4 questions, to give you an idea of what is your strongest attribute. So we've got clairs, the clairsentient, claircognizant, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairfragrant. And whatever your strongest gift is, like I was telling you my Archangel Michael story, and that had I been paying attention to what my gift is, which I'm a feeler, I probably would have had an experience. But because I was looking in another direction, I missed the whole thing. So we do that a lot. So it's just to help you to identify what is your strongest intuitive gift, so you can pay more attention to that. Because when you embrace your natural gift, it is the key that unlocks the door to all of the others.
That's right. It is. It is just the beginning, which is what's so exciting, I believe, that keeps coming up for everybody. So you can all access that free gift of Sunny's out at soulscape.tv/Sunny, SUNNY. And she too resembles her name, I think.
Thank you. And it's my real name. It's a given name. My mother was being optimistic in the middle of a snowstorm in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Oh my God. Said it's Sunny Dawn.
There you are. So I appreciate you. Love you very much. Thank you. Keep going. Keep doing the work. You're a trailblazer. And I just love that you're still with us, hammering away, teaching us and helping. And it's just fantastic. So thank you. And everyone, thank you for joining us. And we will see you again live next week. Bye-bye, everybody.